Hello everyone and welcome to the 7th video of our tutorial series about Grimport. In this video, we'll learn how to extract valuable data from web pages using Grimport. To do so, we'll explore two powerful techniques, CSS selectors and regular expression. So let's get started. First, let's see what are CSS selectors. Every web page is built using HTML elements, and each of these elements can be uniquely identified using CSS selectors. CSS selectors are part of the CSS rule set and can select elements based on their ID, class, type, attribute, or pseudo-classes. Here are some basic CSS selectors. So there is the ID that selects the element with a specific ID, then there is a dot class which selects all elements with a specific class, then the element.class which selects element with a specific class within a specific element, then there is the element which selects all elements with a specific type, and element, element which select multiple elements. To find CSS selectors on a web page, you can use your browser developer tools. Right-click on an element, choose Inspect, and copy the CSS selectors. Let's try that on this test page. So let's copy the CSS selector of I'm a programming language. So right-click, then Inspect, and you right-click on what you want to copy. You go on Copy, and then your CSS selector here. And you have copied your CSS selector. Now that you have copied your CSS selector, go back to the script editor and test your CSS selector on the Test tab. Just here. Don't forget to have the web pages link here, and then you can copy your CSS selector here. Then you can test your function, and you have I'm a programming language. You can also change the selection by choosing inner HTML, outer HTML, or just the text. So we'll try with just the text. And if you try again your function, you will have I'm a programming language. Okay, let's try another one on your test page. For the first one, we have chosen to use an ID as your CSS selector, and we choose my function. But now let's try that with a class division. So we'll try introduction, and instead of just copying it and paste it on your test tab, we'll just write .introduction as your class name. So let's try it on your script editor. Write .introduction, and don't forget the dot at the beginning when writing a class name. Introduction, then test your function, and you have my name is Grimport colored, I'm a programming language, and here are some other programming language. Just as you can see on the test page. Sorry, no, it's my function now. Here, div class, you have my name is Grimport color, I'm a programming language, and here are some other programming language. Now, let's see how we can use the CSS selectors in a Grimport script using functions. We'll use the select function, which takes a CSS selector as its first parameter and allows us to extract specific information from the selected element. So in the select function, your first parameter is your CSS selector, which must be enclosed in quotes because it's a string. The other parameters are optional. So you have the second argument, which allows you to indicate the code in which the search for the CSS selector should be done. If you let null as a parameter, the function will use the whole source code of your page being crawled if it's in a 4-page script. Then you have the third argument, which indicates what you want to extract from the element. It is not enough to indicate an element of the source code, you must also say what you want to take from this element. For example, do you want the HTML with the tag of the element, which correspond to the outer HTML here on the selection, or you just want the HTML inside the tag, which is the inner HTML here, or just the text of the element without the tags, which is the text selection here. Or you can even just take an attribute of the element, like the source property of an image tag. If there are elements corresponding to the CSS selector, the function select returns the content of the first selector found. On the test page again, let's try to select, this time, the programming languages here. So inspect them by right-clicking on them, and as we can see here, you have an ID list of languages. And if you click on the three dots, you can see that between those li HTML tags, you have Java, you have your programming language name, Java, Python, Groovy, and C++. So let's try to select them on your script editor. by using the ID list of languages. So open your script editor, and then we'll type a simple script. So first language equals, first language equals select. Then we'll select the ID list of languages. So don't forget to put an hashtag before your ID name. It's the same for the class, but it's not an hashtag, it's a dot before class name. So here, list of languages. Then we saw that the programming languages were between Li HTML tags, so don't forget to put Li at the end. And we'll console first language, save your script, and when we'll try it, we'll see that we have a null value. Why? Because here you are on a simple script. So you need to take your code and put it on a crawling script, but not on the initial page, but on the 4-page script. Then you can paste your code and you can try again by saving your script and testing it on this page. And here we should have Java. Don't forget to put your script on the 4-page script, or else it won't work and you will have a null value. And we can even go further, because this time I don't want just the first programming language, but I want every languages. So I can write all languages equals, we'll use the select function again. So list of languages, and we'll use also the other argument. And here, as the third one, I will put text because I only want the text and not the HTML tags. Then I will console all languages. Here, save your script and test it, and we'll have every languages here. And we are not limited only to the select function, because we can use the select all function that extracts all elements matching the selector. So let's try it on our example with the list of programming languages. So let's say languages equals select all. Then we'll take again the ID. It was list of languages. Then we'll console languages, save your script, and it will do the same as all languages here. It will select all the programming language matching the selector. So you have Java, Python, Groovy, C++. And here we have the tags because I didn't put text as the third argument. So I'm taking also the tags here. There is also a very useful function that cleans the data and extracts it at the same time, the clean select. It's the same as select, but with a fourth argument, which is a data cleaning mode. But we'll talk about this fourth argument in details later in the video. Just so you know, functions select, select all, regex, and regex all have equivalents that include the data cleaning. You just have to capitalize the first letter. So here on the clean select all, you capitalize the select, the S of select, sorry. And then you just have to add clean in front of the name of your function. So let's try this with an example. So here we have languages, and we already tried those 2 lines of code, and we had the list of every programming languages with the HTML tags, Li. But then now I added the clean version, and let's save the script and try it to see what it does. Test the script. And here you have the function, the result of the first function without cleaning, sorry. And here you have the same, but cleaned. And we don't have the HTML tags. Sometimes CSS selectors may not be enough to extract the data you need because the pages lacks identifiers, class, or even because it's not HTML. That's where regular expression, or regex for short, come into play. Regex is a powerful tool for pattern matching in strings. In Grimport, we can use the regex function and the clean regex function to apply a regex pattern and extract specific data from a web page. So we'll try an example on the test page again. Some element of this page will be more difficult than others to extract, so we'll use regular expression. For this example, let's try to extract the title, so welcome to CSS selector test page. So inspect, and here, as you can see, you have your title, which is inside the h1 tag, which is a tag for a big title. And to extract this title, we use a regular expression on the script editor. In order to extract the title, we'll use this regular expression, so the expression between the regex parentheses. It looks scary, but it's actually simple. First, we have the special declaration flag, so parentheses interrogation mark SI, and it tells the regex that the dot includes the character new lines, so with the S, and by default it's not the case, and with the I's it tells the regex that we will ignore case differences. Then there is the HTML tags, which is h1 in our case, and it means that what we want to extract starts with the string h1. Then there is a \s with a little asterisk at the top, and it signals that there can be any amount of white spaces. Then what we want to extract is between those parentheses, and it's called an extraction mask. And the character inside the extraction mask means that we want to include all the characters that exist except the character greater than and less than. And at the end, we have the HTML tag again that indicates that we want to stop there. There is also \, before the h1 here because it's an escape sequence. So let's save the script and let's try it on the page. And we have our title. Now let's try another example on the test page. This time we want to extract the Java programming language here at the end of the page. But if we right click on it and we inspect the element, we can see that there is multiple h2 HTML tags here. So what we need to type this time on the regular expression will be a bit more specific than just saying that we want a h2. So in the script editor, it will not be enough to write this line with only the h2 tags, but it's necessary to add the strong tag like this. Still, there are multiple subtitles here with a h2 tag and also a strong tag. So there is the Java programming language, but there is also the C++ programming language. So our code will correspond to several subtitles. We'll see in the next part how to avoid the problem. Now let's see our regular expression work with Grimport. We can use the regex function that we have already seen, but there is also the regex all and their clean counterparts to use in Grimport. So firstly, there is the clean regex function that returns the mask of the first regex found. So here we are looking for an element with the h2 and strong tag, and it will return the first element that has these tags. So let's try it on the page, and we'll have a Java programming language. You can also use the clean regex all, which returns the mask of a regex for all matching instances. So this time we won't have only the Java programming language, but we should have every programming language. So let's try it on the page, and we have every programming language. You can also use the list extraction function on what the clean select all returns, to take for example the second element of the array with the get function. Don't forget that in a list, the first element is at the index 0. That's why we put 1 at the end here, because we want the second element. So let's try it. And normally, for the h2 and strong instances, we should have the C++, I think. Yes, it's the C++ programming language. You could have also extract all HT tags by changing your regular expression like this. And it's also possible, just so you know, to use several masks in a regular expression. If you do so and the mask to extract is not the first one, just indicate it in the appropriate regex parameter, which is the third one. To know the number of masks, just count the number of opening brackets. So here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now let's talk about data cleaning. One of the most important tasks in any web application is a proper sanitization and standardization of data. Any data stored in a database should be in a standardized format, especially data that comes from external sources. There are several functions that allow the cleaning of data in order to standardize it. Here are the main ones. So there is the standardized text function, which corrects encoding errors and replaces special characters, making your data consistent and readable. Then there is the strip tag function that helps you clean up your data by removing HTML tags, leaving you with just a plain text. Then there is the number function, which allows the extraction of a number from an HTML code. And then there is the HTML2Price function that helps extract prices even from dirty code. In Grimport, we prefer using functions starting with clean, like clean select or clean regex over select and regex, because they have an additional argument called post-processing, which is a cleaning function. The post-processing corresponds to the first argument of a clean function, and here's how it works. So if you let null or nothing as the first argument, well, it does the same as the strip tag and the standardized text function. If you let description or D, it's for description and it only does the standardized text function. If you do price or P, it's only for prices and it's the same as doing the HTML price function, HTML2Price, sorry, function. Then there is number, decimal, float, or n, and it's for number with decimal number. Then there is the integer or just I, which is for numeric integers. And then there is none or just a dot or zero, and it does nothing. You don't have to memorize every post-processing. You can just write a clean function and then you pass over your mouse and you have here every argument, how they works, and also at the end you have every post-processing option. For example, if you want to extract the price with the select function, instead of writing my price equals HTML to price, then select function and the ID of your price, we can simply write my price and then clean select, then put your the ID of your price. So we say like, the ID was my price. Then as the second and the third element, we don't need them, so we put null. And for the first one, which is the post-processing argument, instead of having the HTML2Price function, we simply have to write price as the post-processing. And here you have selected your price. Before finishing this video, there is one thing you should be careful about when using too much clean function. As I mentioned before, when we leave nothing for the post-processing argument, by default the function will apply the standardized text plus strip tag functions on the element extracted. So by default the element extracted by a clean function will be a plain standardized text with no HTML tags. And that can cause issues. Sometimes you will need to extract a data stored between two HTML tags. And if you happen to clean those HTML tags with a clean function, because you didn't put anything for the post-processing argument, well, you won't be able to extract the data, and you will end up having a null instead of your element. So when using a clean function, make sure you're using the right post-processing argument that matches the type of element you want to extract. As we have seen, price for a price, D or description for a description, etc. And that's it for this video. You have learned everything you need to know about extracting data from web pages using CSS selectors and regular expression in Grimport. You have now a powerful tool at your disposal for various web scraping tasks. In the next video, we'll put this concept into practice and demonstrate how to extract information from an online product page. See you in the next video, and goodbye!